Shalom. First and foremost, giving all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak, Kodash. Double honors to the apostle elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. Yeah, I found this article a couple of days ago, and I want to do a video on it. From Natural News, it says hospitals discriminating against unbitten organ transplant candidates. And when you read this article, basically it's just going to go into how they're refusing to give, people. I'm going to read the article, but just to give you a short summary of it, refusing to give people any organ transplants, which is against the scriptures, anyways. You're not supposed to do stuff like that. You're not supposed to make any cuttings in flesh. You're not supposed to, cut into your body and, give your organs away and transplant. All that's off. But, here in this Roman society, these things are made to seem to be okay. But basically, hey, if you didn't get bitten, they're, refusing to give you any organ transplants. And I just wanted to bring out this article to bring out a key point in Revelation, the 13th chapter. So this will be a short video. Let's get into it. It says hospitals are now discriminating against organ transplant candidates who did not get bitten with the C19, orange juice. This discrimination ranges from putting them on waiting lists to deny eligibility altogether. Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston is one of the facilities engaged in medical fascism. The parents of 31-year-old DJ Ferguson denounced the hospital for striking him off the heart transplant list because he was unbitten against the C19. According to DJ's father, David Ferguson, his son was first in line to receive a new heart transplant, but hospital removed him from the list due to his unjuiced status or unbitten status. It's kind of against his basic principles. He doesn't believe in it. It's a policy that they are enforcing it. And so because he won't get the juice, they took him off the list of a heart transplant, DJ's father said. So their family is strict on not drinking the juice, but yet, the hospital basically said, okay, you don't want to take it, well, then we're taking you off the list. And it said he was first on the list to get it. But because of his status, because he doesn't want to get it, they took him off the list. Continuing, it says, according to the elder Ferguson, his son's heart has deteriorated to the point that it will no longer work on its own. My son has gone to the edge of death to stick to his guns, and he's been pushed to the limit. He continued, the Ferguson family is now considering his transfer to another facility that does not discriminate against unbitten patients. But eventually, most hospitals are going to get like that because this is, think of this like a virus or a disease. It starts one place and then it's going to spread to the others. So, yeah, this one hospital may have done it, but when things get bad, all the hospitals are going to do it. So it's going to be enforced. Eventually they're going to mandate it to where you have to get this, and we know where that's going to lead to eventually with the MOTB, them mandating that. And these things that you're seeing is just showing proof that the scriptures are true. Like the scriptures say, these words are faithful and true. That eventually they're going to mandate the MOTB, but they're using this thing right now as a forerunner, as pretty much a prelude to what's going to happen when the MOTB comes out. So when you see these things happening now with this small little thing that they're using now, don't be surprised when the MOTB comes out that they do the same thing, but on a bigger and grander scale. Much more people are going to get turned away for things because they want people to take the MOTB because biblical prophecy. It's part of their NWO plans. So what you're seeing now is just a prelude to the things that are coming ahead in the future, just on a smaller scale. But things are going to, kick up. Things are going to pick up. So his son's heart is pretty much deteriorating, and the hospital says, listen, we don't care. And you're going to see that later on in the article as well. Pretty much, we don't care, because that's what they're saying. But Esau, Edom, they'll use nice, fancy words, say, listen, sir, this is our policy. But essentially what you're saying is, look, because of our policy, we can't care about your son. So, and we don't care if your son's heart is deteriorating or he might die within the next day or two or whatever. Find another hospital to send him to because we're not accepting him because of his unjuiced or unbitten status. And we don't care about the fact that you don't want to take it. That's your problem. And then if your son dies, that's also your problem. That's essentially what they're saying. But you know how Edomites are. They have to say it in a nice way to make you think that they're not saying what they're saying. But so they say it in a nice way. They say it in a less aggressive way, like how I'm saying. But essentially, that's what they're saying. We don't give a shit about your son. Take your son to another hospital because we're not treating him or we're not giving him a heart transplant because he's unthinged. Continuing, it says BWH, which is the hospital, which, let me see what's the name of the hospital again. Brigham and Women's Hospital, confirmed its decision to remove the younger Ferguson off the list in a statement. Like many other transplant programs in the U.S., the C19 is one of several, uh, that word, hopefully you're following along, and lifestyle behaviors required for transplant candidates. In order to create both the best chance for a successful operation and also the patient's survival after transplant, the hospital said. So basically, they're saying, hey, he has to get it in order for it to be successful. But it's like, so what happened to all these years prior before this thing came out? You couldn't do it before. There was no issue, but now with this thing, there's an issue. The hospital found an ally in Dr. Arthur Kaplan of New York University Grossman School of Medicine. According to the school's medical ethics head, the transplant patients are at particular risk due to their compromised immune systems. Following any transplant, kidney, heart, or whatever, your immune system is shut off. The f- the the words that you see there, 'cause I'm being careful even those words. The F to the L to the U, a cold or the C19 could kill you. The organs are scarce. We are not going to distribute them to someone who has a poor chance of living when others are that word there, I almost said it, have a better chance post surgery of surviving, he said. So basically they're giving an excuse your organs are gonna be, at you know, with the transplant at risk. So it says DJ Ferguson is not the first organ transplant patient victimized by medical fascism. Back in October 2021, kidney transplant patient Leilani Lutali from Colorado was denied the procedure after the hospital she consulted found out that she and the organ donor were, untouched, unjuiced, unbitten. Lutali and her friend Jamie Faulkner, who was set to donate her kidneys, both refused the C19 bite for religious reasons and opted by con, conservative columnist Michelle Malkin mentioned the outcome of Lutali and Faulkner's journey. According to Malkin, one of the transplant coordinators warned that their journey would come to an end if they insisted on turning down the thing. Lutali added that there would be no exemptions and even alternatives such as a negative C19 test were acceptable. So listen to this part, and that's pretty much it. It says Lilani has now been placed on the inactive list, a death sentence. The conservative columnist wrote, Malkin concluded, trust the science, stop asking questions, and comply or die. So like I said earlier, pretty much it's like, listen, if you're not gonna get down with the system, or if you're not gonna do what you need to do, then you're just gonna have to die. We're not transferring no organs. We don't care if your son's heart is gonna deteriorate and he can't use it anymore. If he doesn't get the you know take the juice, we're not helping him. We're not doing excuse me, any heart transplants. And if he dies, oh well, then they'll say that's on you. And they'll make you seem like the bad people. But this is in Revelation chapter 15, I'm sorry, chapter Revelation chapter 13 and 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Now I want to focus on that word killed. Now, when you go into the word killed, yeah, we know that eventually things are going to lead to them, like it says in Revelation 20, them beheading those that would not take the MOTB. But it also means something else as well. Let me see what this word says.
Strong's G 615, apartino.
All right, the word here is apoktaino, but when you go to the root word, it doesn't also like it's you see here it means to kill, which we know, like I said, they're gonna eventually kill people, you know. But when you go to the root word apo, it says of separation. Now I want to focus on this B definition right here as well. It says of separation of a part from the whole. So you're going to be separated from society. So let's just use this example with this article here. If you don't comply with getting the thing, we're not giving you a heart transplant. And if your heart is gonna, the heart that you have is gonna cause you to die, well, then oh, so well. Then that's on you, and they'll blame you and say, listen, because you didn't comply, then die. Like it says here. The woman said, trust the science. That's what they've been saying. Like it says, stop asking questions, comply. All they've been telling you to do is just trust the science, trust the science, trust the science. They're not giving you any answers other than just saying trust the science because they don't have answers. This NWO, the way the world is going into, it's about just complying. It's about following their orders. It's about obeying. Like the scriptures say, worship, which worship doesn't mean to bow down and, with your hands in the air and your head to the floor. No, but reverence, to reverence and follow their way of their ways of going about life. So it says trust the science, like that's all they've been saying. Stop asking questions. They don't want you to ask. And anytime you ask any questions, they always say the same thing. Just trust the science and comply. So just do what you're told. Do what everybody else is doing, or die. So hey, you don't want to get this thing, well then you're going to be separated. Here, this like in the article, the son was the first on the list to get a heart transplant, but because he doesn't have the thing, well, we're not dealing with you. We're not going to, give you a heart transplant. So you're off the list, or you can find another hospital to go to. And now it's like, well, what if the other hospitals, now you have to think about what if the other hospitals around are doing that? See what I mean? So now it's like they're forcing you to comply because nobody wants to see their son die. But hey, it's either, like I said, comply or die. And that's the options that they're leaving you with now. There's no in between. That's that straight gate that we have to walk through. But just to show you that when it says killed, it doesn't always, it has a two meanings. Meaning, yes, they're gonna kill, but also they're gonna separate you from society. You're not gonna get the benefits that other people who have gotten the thing are gonna get. And you're seeing that even in schools. I've seen an article where there's like discrimination between in schools where those who got the thing and those who didn't get the thing. They're I think in some restaurants they set up, or even like some stadiums and things like that, they have the section for those who got the bite and those who didn't get the bite. So they're creating that division amongst people. And people don't want to be separated from society. Although we do live in a society where people are like F society. I could give it two shits about society, but if you have friends, and let's say your friends get the thing, but you didn't, that's going to compel you to get it because of your friends. Because why? Yeah, you have people, especially younger kids, who might say, I don't give a shit about society. Because you know how these Generation Z or this generation is. But they might like, I don't give a shit about society, but what? You're cut off from your friends. And you love your friends. You like your friends, right? And you might be like, fuck, man, I don't want to be separated from my homies, man. Ah, F it, man. I'm going to just go get it. Because why? You don't want to be separated from your friends, those who are closest to you. So now you're compelled and you're going to comply to get the thing now. You could give two shits about society because you may not be friends with the whole world, but those who are close to you, if they get it, but you're like, nah, I don't want to get it. But then you see your friends doing this, they're going here, they're going there, and you want to have fun as well. Now you're going to be compelled to get it as well because you don't want to be separated from those who are close to you. And that's what they're doing. They're creating that division. And they're going to make it seem like getting the juice or getting the bite is like the, the fun thing to do, the hip thing to do, but it's not. Like scriptures say, falling out a multitude to do evil. But yeah, that's all. Don't want to ramble on, but as you can see, this is just this article and many other articles, are just proving like the scriptures say, these words are faithful and true. You're seeing them. And when you read these articles, tie them in with biblical prophecy, when you understand the prophecies, and you'll see this is what the scriptures are speaking about. Those that wouldn't worship the beast should be killed. Now, yes, it's going to get, like I said, it's going to get to a point where they are going to kill, but it also means to separate. And like you see in this article with these people, they're not getting treated because they don't want to be a part of society, because they're creating, hey, if you want to be a part of society, you have to get this thing. Otherwise, we're not going to treat you for certain things. And this one hospital is an example of that. And many other hospitals could be doing it, but they're not going to have these things on like CNN, Fox News, Good Morning America, all these big, or NBC and things like that, or CNBC. They're not going to have that on that because they don't want people to know about these things. So you have to find this type of information on these type of websites, or sometimes uh do some you might have to do some digging on the internet, on Google, to find these type of stories. Because I also found it on, I think it's News 7 Boston as well. So, but they won't put this type of information out there because they don't want the people to be like, hey, that's wrong. They don't want any backlash. But don't want to ramble anymore. I pray that this video is edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak, Wadash, Shalom.